Meera Singh is a house help in Delhi. When she found out that she could save trees by giving a missed call, she dialed the number immediately. Meera is one of many who received a WhatsApp message asking her to give a missed call to a particular number in order to save trees in Delhi. She said, I don't know what it's about, but it said that I could save trees by just dialing a number and giving a missed call, so I did. It's so hot anyway, why not help the environment as possible? This was from a news article that wrote about a campaign in Delhi to save over 16,000 trees. And we at Jhatka worked with citizen groups in Delhi and were able to mobilize over 65,000 people for the issue. This mention of Meera really stuck with me. It was a beautiful example about how technology is helping digital campaigners like myself to reach people and places that other campaigns probably wouldn't. And technology now has enabled that kind of reach where people are able to take action without having to be physically present somewhere. At Jhatka.org, like Maitri just said, we are committed to building grassroots citizen power across the country in effective and innovative ways. We help people take action collectively on issues and effect change that probably wouldn't be possible if they acted alone. We work with civil society and engage citizens to hold corporate, cultural, and government leaders accountable in real time at key decision moments using various digital communication platforms, be it email, SMS, WhatsApp, and even social media. My passion for the environment started at a very young age. My father was actually a big influence. He's someone who's always been very environmentally conscious. He was always coming up with ways to reduce electricity and water usage at home, and he always had hacks. And at home we call him Jugaad King. And he always found joy in the little things, whether it was sitting at a park bench or looking at the stars in his telescope. And while doing all this, he was not just happy, but also content. And all of this had a big impact on me. Of course, I also met and continue to work with a lot of people who inspire me on a daily basis in the environment and social justice space. And now what we're seeing is that a lot of everyday regular people standing up for issues and taking action. We're seeing more and more people show up, whether it's at government offices or out on the streets in protest, and they're able to do that collectively. What is interesting to me now is to see the rise in the number of women joining this movement to save the environment. The connection between women and the environment has long been established. Throughout history, in fact, women have been the primary users of natural resources, and they were responsible for bringing food to the house. And they were also people who spent most of the times in the farms and feeding their household. So shouldering that kind of responsibility helped them learn a lot about soil and plants and trees, and which also fostered a very close relationship with nature. Rural women especially have a very close relationship with nature. They give a lot of priority to preserving the natural resources and caring and nurturing them. And that's why the relationship and perspective and values that women have towards the environment is somewhat different than men. In the urban context, I've had the privilege of meeting and working with some incredible women who've been joining this movement to save the environment. Meet Bhavreen. She grew up in Delhi. She is the daughter of an Indian Air Force officer. So she traveled across the country and then came back to Delhi to study. She has a background in advertising and PR, and she worked as a social analyst. She's also a mother of 2 teenage daughters who play national level basketball. Her daughters have been training for 11 years, but this sport that they absolutely love has become a double-edged sword. Because they live in Delhi and practice outside, they're at a high risk of developing air pollution-related respiratory infections. And because this particular season and this winter has been so severe in terms of air pollution and will be in the next few months, she says that they probably won't be selected next year. She says that her activism comes from a sense of desperation, whether it's saving trees in her city or improving waste management practices in her city. It is now for her a matter of fighting for her children's right to breathe. She says that merely contacting authorities and sending them emails is not helping. And in fact, when I was trying to get in touch with her for this talk to get some more information from her, she was actually rushing to the farmers' rally in Delhi that happened a couple of days ago. She was going to go there to volunteer at the Gurudwara and serve food for the farmers. Then there's Sherry. Sherry is a woman in Gurgaon. She is part of one of the mothers groups that have now come together to fight for clean air in their city. She shared this heartbreaking graphic with me of her child playing outside with the air quality showing 307 right next to him. 307 is a very, very poor air quality index. While he should be outdoors enjoying the winter sun, he's actually breathing in about more than 6 times the safe limit for particulate matter. She says that as a mother, we drive ourselves absolutely crazy trying to provide for our children's safety, food, a clean home, but deathly poisonous air is something that's completely out of their control. And she says that it's not just safety and the well-being of their own child, but a mother's guilt is something that goes beyond that as well. She says that when you're traveling and you see a construction site, there's a toddler playing with mounds of sand and suddenly they're your children and you're mentally calculating how much dust they're inhaling, and it just takes you down a spiral, and it's just traumatizing and deeply horrifying, and it hits you at a very personal level. She says that my activism is a daily fight against the feeling of sheer helplessness to protect my children now. So it got me thinking, what is the common thread between all of these women? What is driving them to do a lot more and show up and step out and do so much other than what they're doing on a daily basis while having a day job, while providing for their family? One is, of course, that they're mothers, so their activism comes from a place of wanting a better future for their children. And looking at their children suffer on a daily basis with the direct impact of air pollution is probably heartbreaking. And Sherry and Bhavreen was saying that, when I think about how there's this fear that, my children won't cross the age of 40 without a lung disorder. And at Jhatka, one thing that we do is we come up with compelling content in order to motivate people to take action on issues. And one thing that we've seen consistently is that messaging around children's health is very powerful and impactful, and clearly we can see why. We all have parents, aunts, uncles who are very active on WhatsApp. They're forwarding us messages left, right, and center right from the time they wake up in the morning. What we need to do is harness this love and fascination for technology and steer it in the right direction. We need to be able to amplify our voices for all the important issues that are facing us today. Being an activist is not something that you necessarily need to be doing full-time, or you don't have to spend all your time outside on protests. An active citizenry, taking part in democracy, whether it's in your neighborhood, in your town, in your city, is what we need right now. If you live in a neighborhood where you're spotting problems, go out there, find out how your neighborhood functions, find out how your town functions, step in and see how you can actively participate and contribute. India right now needs activists more than ever for a greener, safer, cleaner tomorrow. And you can be part of that movement too. Thank you.